David brought home an injured man and told me to call him uncle. But I liked him. I seduced him into becoming my secret boyfriend. Just as we were about to go public, he received a family inheritance notice. Before he left, I sent him 2 teams of hand-picked mercenaries to help him secure his position as heir to Gould. He promised me, when I return, I'll marry you in grand style and make you the Mrs. Marcus that everyone envies. Little did I know, that wait would last 3 years. I turned down all arranged marriage proposals from prominent East families, wanting only to be his Mrs. Marcus. But when he finally returned, he brought a convoy of luxurious thank you gifts. And by his side stood a captivatingly beautiful woman. Everyone turned to look at me, half with pity, half with mockery. Eleanor, this is your aunt. Everyone expected me to throw a fit and cling to him, but instead, I proudly greeted them, uncle and aunt. Then I turned and chose a marriage prospect, marrying into a prestigious family with great fanfare. On our wedding night, he threatened to blow up my new home. Eleanor, either come with me, or we die together. Marcus was originally the heir to the Gould family clan in Northfield, but he was ambushed by relatives and severely wounded, living at my house to recover. That stay lasted 5 years. He was incredibly handsome, the object of every woman's admiration and fantasy, and I was no exception. I tried every method to seduce him, and eventually, he couldn't resist and gave in to me. Until he received a family inheritance notice and had no choice but to return. That day, the cherry blossoms were in full bloom. He picked out a solitary, exquisite branch and gave it to me. Eleanor, when I reclaim my position of power, I will marry you in grand style and bring you back to the Gould family, to become the Mrs. Marcus everyone envies. I said, good. I'll wait for your return. That wait stretched for over 3 years. The arranged marriage PR. Proposals piled up, but I rejected every single one. My only thought was to wait for his return. Not long after, he came back. I was alone under a cherry blossom tree, admiring the cherry blossoms, when Ms. Mabel, my personal bodyguard, rushed over. Miss Marcus is back. The hand holding the cherry blossom branch paused, and I turned my head, my heart full of joy. But I saw that Ms. Mabel's expression was incredibly solemn, lacking the excitement I had anticipated. I had a sinking feeling then that all these years of waiting would probably become a joke. Is he alive or dead? I walked out, Ms. Mabel following behind me. Alive? My steps paused again. I could already hear his laughter from the living room, laced with the alluring voice of a woman. Oh, Marcus, you always tease me. Though I'm the Princess of Viridian's niece, I'm just Marcus's wife now, and only secondarily a princess bestowed by the princess. Look, that's the kind of poise and understanding you only find in someone from a true elite family. I followed the sound, walking in with heavy, desolate steps. Just as I reached the entrance of the hall, I saw the woman standing next to Marcus. She was breathtakingly beautiful, like an enchantress, with an innate charm, and at the same time, a rebellious and spirited aura. Marcus's hand was casually circling her waist. The two looked perfectly matched, chatting and laughing. In that moment, my heart held nothing but a trace of hatred, none of the former hope or love. Eleanor. David stood up, his expression somewhat serious, but more filled with concern. Everyone familiar with us knew about my relationship with Marcus, and my shrewd father surely couldn't have been oblivious. As I entered, everyone turned to look at me. Half pity, half mockery. Too, I looked at the dozens of elaborate boxes scattered on the floor, all filled with thank you gifts, and couldn't help but feel bewildered. Marcus walked over and cleared up my confusion. All this gold is my thanks for your help 3 years ago. I glanced down at the gold, a bitter smile on my face. Oh, just thank you gifts? Nothing else for me, like a promise? Eleanor, this is all I can do. Don't wish for anything else. I've already reclaimed my position of power. Yes. He had done it, but he had forgotten the promise he once made to me, making me ultimately a laughingstock. Now he already had another woman by his side, which was why he was so eager to quickly establish clear boundaries with me. The cherry blossom branch in my hand silently slipped to the floor, symbolizing the end of my 3-year wait. Aunt also walked over then, taking Marcus's arm and smiling seductively. This must be the little niece. Your Marcus always talks about you like a child, as if you'll never grow up, always so willful and charming. He says if anyone crossed you, you'd cut off their hand. Everyone held their breath, because my temperament could be quite ruthless, and I hated being called small or ruthless. They all thought I would lose my temper, but I simply offered a sweet smile. Being small isn't so bad. It means I'll always be a few years younger than everyone else and never have to worry about aging prematurely. The smile on Aunt's face instantly froze. She was almost the same age as Marcus, and what women feared most was aging and being disliked by their husbands. I walked past them without another glance. Laugh, why aren't you laughing now? David stepped in to smooth things over. Alright, Eleanor, you haven't greeted the elders yet. That is Marcus's fiancée, Aunt. As soon as David finished introducing her, he kept watching my reaction, knowing how much I had given. What I received in return was having to congratulate the man I loved on marrying someone else. Anyone in my shoes would be furious, but I wouldn't lose my temper. In these 3 years, I had learned to grow, learned strategy and composure, and had long since abandoned my childish whims. Aunt seemed to have gained her dominant position, leading Marcus over to me. Didn't I just greet you? You just said hello, but you haven't shown me proper respect yet. I am a princess personally bestowed by the princess, and wherever I go, I represent the princess's honor. Everyone must show us respect and greet us properly. Was she demanding that I bow to her? I glanced at Marcus. He said nothing, seemingly agreeing with Aunt's actions. I thought he would at least feel some guilt towards me, but his gaze remained fixed on Aunt. In a trance, I seemed to understand something. He wasn't being coerced, he had truly fallen in love with another woman. How am I supposed to show respect? By kneeling down, of course. Aunt sat imperiously before me, waiting for me to kneel and show deference. She was smiling, and I was so annoyed I laughed. Once you're here, you're on my territory. Only others kneel to Eleanor. What local power broker would ever kneel to someone else in their own territory? You. I turned my head with a cold sneer, glaring back at Aunt. The old court customs are centuries old and no longer apply here. Aunt, if you like people kneeling to you, you can go back to your Viridian and have the citizens of Viridian kneel to their heart's content. I will not kneel. Your consort of Viridian won't send people to kill me just because you're angry. Don't flatter yourself too much. This so-called princess title is just an empty shell to me. And you, I added, turning to Marcus, please return my 2 mercenary teams. If even one is missing, I'll hold you accountable. I turned and walked away. Sighs and murmurs followed me. This child, don't blame her. Oh, by the way, when are you leaving? Next? 3. As I passed the cherry blossom tree, the wind scattered the cherry blossom petals. They drifted down onto me, a shameful and ridiculous sight. It was the season of cherry blossoms when he left, and it was still the season of cherry blossoms upon his return. Ms. Mabel followed behind me, looking at my back with a hint of sorrow. Miss, are you all right? Cut down that cherry blossom tree. It's an eyesore. Yes. Marcus had planted the cherry blossom tree for me. If he didn't want the person, what was the point of keeping the tree? They brought me some photos and arranged marriage proposals. Miss, would you like to take a look? I, who had never bothered with arranged marriage proposals before, stopped this time and picked one. The family heir, I suppose. They looked at my choice of the Hayes family and a wave of panic washed over him. Miss, perhaps choose the Lewis family instead. The family heir is a cripple, known to be cruel and ruthless. Miss, you absolutely cannot choose him. I closed the arranged marriage proposals and turned to meet the butler's worried gaze. Have you ever met him? No, I've only heard rumors. Oh, so you're certain just based on hearsay? Well, they also say I'm capricious and petty, unable to tolerate even the slightest offense. Well said. Sometimes I also wonder about those rumors. Why do they only speak of my cunning and never my good looks? Ethan then walked into my view. His legs seemed to be lame, but that didn't diminish his dashing handsomeness. Why are you here? Your father invited me. I've come to participate in the son-in-law selection banquet. Since Eleanor has chosen me, I'll make it clear, I don't tolerate divided loyalties from those close to me. I demand complete devotion. I smirked. Wasn't what he said exactly what I wanted? Why did you cut down the cherry blossom tree? That was a token of our love. Marcus's arrival interrupted my conversation with Ethan. He walked quickly, sweat beading on his forehead. Ethan, sensing the situation, gracefully left, giving us space. What was he doing in your room? Marcus didn't know I had already chosen a marriage prospect. My father wouldn't tell him, and I didn't want to waste my breath. I cut it down because it was an eyesore. LSO, Ethan and I are both unmarried, so his presence in my room is no big deal. However, Uncle, your current status makes this inappropriate. You should leave, lest your fiancé gossip. Marcus thought I couldn't tolerate Aunt, and that I was constantly using my status to make things difficult for her. Don't keep targeting her like this. She helped me. As I said this, I pulled out a small gun and began wiping it carefully with a piece of gauze. Did I not help you? Eleanor, what are you doing? Don't be reckless. If you shoot her, you'll have to do it over my dead body. You have no idea how difficult things were after I went back. I was constantly ambushed and nearly lost my life. She was the one who came out and saved me. At the time, we were both drugged with an aphrodisiac and had no choice but to be together. Later, I found out she was related to the Princess of Viridian. She forced me to marry her in the name of the princess. If I didn't agree, she would cause trouble for the Gould family. Believe me, just give me 2 more years. Once I've resolved these issues, I'll divorce her and marry you. I fired the gun at the window, startling a bird that had just flown by. I wasn't afraid of the princess's threats, so how could a man of his stature be afraid? Was I easily fooled, or was he just making excuses for himself? In the end, he loved a beautiful woman, but he also couldn't bear to give up his position of power. Compared to my status, he needed Aunt, who had the princess's backing, to be his wife. Get out. I wouldn't stoop to dirtying my hands to kill her. I, Eleanor, was born into nobility and wouldn't deign to fight over a man or settle for being a mistress. For Marcus reached out, somewhat panicked, and grabbed my wrist. Eleanor, don't hate me. I was forced into it. Why don't you wait for me for 1 year? Just 1 year. Don't you understand? I don't use things that others have already used. You dared to betray your vows. The only reason I haven't torn you apart is because I've reached my limit of patience. Ms. Mabel understood, and asked Marcus to leave. Mr. Marcus, please leave. Miss needs to change for the evening banquet. Marcus still wanted to linger, but Aunt came and led him away. Before she left, her eyes held a calculating glint. After changing, I got up and left. As I passed Marcus's room, I heard Aunt's soft moans. Little girls are just little girls, all they do is talk back, utterly useless. Neither her figure nor her looks can compare to mine, Aunt. Through the crack in the door, I saw Marcus lying on her, lost in decadent bliss. Aunt turned and smirked triumphantly at me, celebrating her victory. Upon arriving at the banquet hall, all the distinguished guests stood, wine glasses in hand, chatting and laughing. More than just attending a banquet, it was a means to network and curry favor. David saw me in a red dress, exuding a powerful aura no less imposing than his, and walked over with satisfaction. Eleanor, if you take a liking to any wealthy young man, just tell your father, and I already have a choice, Ethan. My father never strongly objected to my choices, he would only say good. Just then, Marcus and Aunt entered the banquet, and their arrival created a buzz. That beautiful woman next to Mr. Marcus is the Princess of Viridian's niece. Wow. She's stunning. No woman here can compare to her beauty and noble status. They look like a perfect match. Hearing herself being praised, Aunt lifted her head haughtily and walked over. She didn't forget to provoke me. I'm not the hostess tonight, you know. Please don't compliment me so much, or people will say that I, as her aunt, have overshadowed my niece. We're not just saying that. Aunt smiled contentedly, usurping my role as the hostess. I swirled my red wine, my eyes full of disdain. Only those with nothing else to offer rely solely on their looks to attract attention. I never needed such things. Perhaps via ring I would be embarrassed. Marcus stayed close to me. Eleanor, don't be angry. I've already ordered someone to replant a cherry blossom tree. This one will bear fruit. Just give me 1 more year. This time I'll definitely give you an explanation. I ignored Marcus completely, not uttering a single word to him throughout the banquet. Finally, Aunt, wanting to prove she had not just beauty but also substance, began a fencing demonstration. Everyone present, from gentlemen to experienced fencing champions, lost to Aunt. A chorus of voices praising her bravery and cunning rose in continuous admiration. Aunt looked at me, resting her sword on her shoulder. I hear my niece is the heir to the Vance family. As an heir, she must be brave and shrewd. With a flick of her wrist, she hooked a sword with the tip of her blade and sent it flying towards me. I reached out and caught it. I'd like to face the heir to the Vance family and see who is superior. No sooner had she spoken than she attacked me with ferocious intensity. Aunt merely wanted to use this opportunity to humiliate and retaliate against me. I parried her attacks, realizing then that this wasn't just a game, she was clearly trying to kill me. Niece, if you're scared, just say so. I'll go easy on you. The tip of her sword grazed my hand, leaving a bleeding gash. Aunt's smile grew even wider. If you can't handle it, just speak up, otherwise I'll keep going. As her words fell, I countered, piercing her dress with my sword, pressing forward instead of retreating. I had been trained like a man since childhood. The heir to the Vance family was not a coward. 1 thrust, 2 thrusts, 3 thrusts, each one precisely piercing her dress, catching her off guard and making her cry out in pain repeatedly. yet she refused to call a halt. Marcus joined in, taking up a sword to fight for Aunt. My skills were taught by him, he knew how to attack and defend against me. Call it off. I won't let her lose. With his invo. Vehement, Aunt seized an opportunity and stabbed my back, drawing blood. Then another thrust, tearing my red dress. I knew you loved me most of all. It was truly laughable that the man who said he would never draw a sword against me would one day wound me for someone else. I clenched my fists tightly, rage boiling within me. Everyone clamored for me to concede and retreat, to stop making a spectacle. Marcus and Aunt moved together, turning and using both swords to knock me back and send me flying. I thought I would hit the ground, but instead, I fell into a warm embrace. How shameless! This was supposed to be a one-on-one, but instead, this couple ganged up on my fiancé. The word fiancé made Marcus pause for a moment, looking at Ethan with confusion. Who did you just call your fiancé? Ethan ignored him, focusing all his attention on me. Shall I help you pay them back? Yes. I stepped out of his embrace. Ethan took a sword handed to him by his assistant, and the two of us faced Marcus and Aunt. It was ironic, this scene shouldn't have been unfamiliar to Marcus. When I was in danger, when my life hung in the balance, Marcus was the one who appeared and fought alongside me. Now, we had become adversaries, the man I once loved had now become my adversary. But someone always mocked Ethan's limp. He's just a cripple. Winning against you two wouldn't even be honorable. Aunt's gaze swept over us with contempt, the disdain evident at the corner of her mouth. Relying on her royal relatives, she had always looked down on everyone else. Then you'd better take this seriously. If you lose to a cripple like me, it'll be a massive humiliation. As his words fell, Ethan and I, as if by unspoken agreement, switched positions and attacked Marcus and Aunt with synchronized sword strokes. Marcus glared at me, his eyes bloodshot. I reached out and hooked Ethan's wrist. Clang! I knocked Marcus's distracted sword away, then kicked him away with a strike of my sword. You lose. This just proves, don't underestimate a cripple. Then, Ethan stood up on the leg he'd pretended to be lame, walking perfectly fine toward me. How was that? I didn't disappoint you, did I? What a sensational revelation. The family heir isn't a cripple, he was faking it. That statement instantly erupted into a cacophony of whispers, everyone began discussing it. Aunt's strap broke, and she quickly covered herself. Her face was etched with shame and seething hatred, glaring at me with wide, furious eyes, utterly unwilling to accept it. I smiled slightly. Do you know why I won against you? I plunged my sword into the ground 3 centimeters from her foot, because I didn't go easy on you. You. Once you're on my territory, everyone respects my authority and plays by my rules here. No tricks or schemes. Ethan watched me with a pleased look in his eyes. Marcus stood up and looked at the two of us. He asked with the same stubbornness as before, who did you just call your fiancé? I was about to tell him about my arranged marriage plans with the Hayes family when Aunt shrieked. Marcus, quickly take me inside to change. If you keep staring, I'll pluck out your eyes. She snarled threats at the men around us, and given her status, no one dared to look her way again. Reluctant as he was, Marcus had to accompany Aunt back inside. Eleanor, what I said earlier was true. Believe me. As he left, David came out smiling to smooth things over. The banquet didn't stop because of this drama. In fact, it only grew more lively. Ethan was called away by my father to discuss our marriage plans. I set the wedding date for next Wednesday. I also needed to go and change, as my wound was still bleeding. Unexpectedly, as I reached the gazebo, Aunt lunged at me with a whip. Six bitch, seducing Marcus wasn't enough, you even seduced the one who faked his limp. I dodged her attacks while smirking, scoffing back. It seems Miss isn't very confident in her own charm. If something can be lured away, it wasn't worth having in the first place. I stepped on her whip, and she stumbled and fell to the ground. What, you didn't have enough fun just now? Want a second round of humiliation? You dare? What's to stop me? Don't try to threaten me with your usual tactics, they're useless. No sooner had I spoken than Aunt burst into tears. Marcus, quickly, come save me. She's using her home advantage to try and kill me. When rushed over, he saw one person standing and one on the ground, and immediately assumed I was bullying Aunt. Eleanor, are these the manners you've learned in the past 3 years, to be aggressive and domineering? Don't act so self-important just because you're on your own territory, or you'll eventually regret it. As his voice approached, I looked up to meet him. For the first time, Marcus glared at me, truly angry. He helped Aunt up from the ground, and then rested her head on Marcus's shoulder, playing the victim with seductive charm. Marcus, thank goodness you came. Otherwise, you would have found my corpse. Don't worry. As long as I'm here, no one will dare lay a finger on you. Then am I the one you love most? Marcus hesitated, unable to utter a single word for a moment. Just as Aunt was about to get angry, he finally spoke. Yes. Aunt smiled contentedly, then winked at me in blatant provocation. My expression remained as calm as still water despite her taunt. Eleanor, she's still your elder. Come over here and apologize to Aunt. Marcus, this girl is very proud, she won't genuinely apologize. You taught her skills, so why don't you, her teacher, temper her arrogance? Marcus looked at me coldly. Don't force my hand. Just come over and apologize obediently, and this matter will be over. I scoffed, pulled out a cigarette, lit it with a flick of my lighter, and took a drag. After exhaling a puff of smoke, I sneered. Why should I apologize to a drama queen? Given my persona it. Why, I wouldn't intervene unless someone genuinely provoked me. Uncle, you can dote on your new love all you want, but don't let it blind you. Marcus, look at this. What kind of behavior is this? I'm carrying your child. If I get upset and collapse, you might lose your baby. Marcus hesitated for a moment, then spoke to me coldly. Are you deaf? Come over and apologize quickly. I threw the cigarette at my feet. If I don't, will you hit me? Yes. Well, too bad then. I can't apologize. If she's brave enough, she can miscarry. Marcus was enraged. As he was about to approach me, a bullet whizzed past his feet, stopping his advance. Ms. Mabel was right behind me, she had fired the shot. Excuse me, but if you want to discipline my miss, I'm afraid neither of you is capable. Just then, Ethan walked over, clapping his hands. Excellent. This is the miss I admire, who would never tolerate being wronged. I turned to face Aunt and Marcus. If you want to have a peaceful few days, control your woman, because bullets don't discriminate, after all. I pulled Ethan, who seemed to be enjoying the spectacle, away from the scene. 7 It's getting late. You should leave. How heartbreaking. Your husband here wanted to gaze upon you a bit longer. I gave him a cold stare, stopping him from saying anything more. Ethan smiled and shook his head, then pulled out a bracelet. Take it. My mother asked me to give this to you before I left. This is a bracelet passed down to every matriarch of the Hayes family. Wearing it symbolizes the status of the Hayes family matriarch. I didn't try to be coy and allowed Ethan to personally place the bracelet on my wrist. He said, in this life, you are my only wife. We stood under the moonlight, exchanging knowing glances. The silence between us in that moment spoke volumes more than any words. He accompanied me back to my room, leaving a kiss on my forehead before he departed. Go inside and see, I left a gift for you. Next, I will be there on time to marry you. I won't let you wait a second longer. After he left, I pushed the door open and saw a large, brown box. I opened the lid and found a handcrafted, diamond-studded wedding gown inside. It was of immense value, showing how much thought and effort Ethan had put into it. I took out the wedding gown, it was truly exquisite. Just then, Marcus came to find me. Eleanor, is this a wedding gown? I didn't speak, but instead admired the gown's design, treating Marcus as if he were invisible. He, however, thought I was still upset with him. It's all my fault for making you wait for so many years. Eleanor, don't worry. In at most 1 year, I will make sure you have the chance to wear it. So, he thought I had been waiting for him all this time. How shameless. What makes him think he's worth waiting for? Don't take what I said just now seriously. As he approached me, I realized he was drunk. I turned around, meeting his drunken gaze. Suddenly, he wrapped his arms around my waist, tightening his grip little by little, making it impossible for me to push him away. Eleanor, I'm in agony. Every day, seeing you, my beloved, yet unable to hold you, I'm falling apart. Let go. No, I won't. You miss me too, don't you? No, I've moved on from you. Let go of me now and leave my room. I hated a two-timing man, juggling 2 women at once. He couldn't let go of me, yet he also couldn't get rid of Aunt. He made me feel disgusted. Slap. Are you sober now? Meeting my furious gaze, Marcus smiled through his tears, then slowly released his grip. I pushed him out, then closed and locked the doors and windows. For the next few days, I rarely left my room, staying in the courtyard meditating, peacefully preparing for my wedding. I didn't let my father tell Marcus that the day he left would be my wedding day. There was no need for a grand wedding banquet at home. The Hayes family would ensure I was well taken care of. Until, just before the wedding, Marcus came to find me. 8 He stood outside the door, once again uttering empty promises. Eleanor, I'm leaving now, and I'll be gone for a year. And in that year, I'll be able to handle many things. When I return, I will definitely marry you. Ms. Mabel pushed the door open, letting him in. I remained seated at my dressing table, looking at my reflection in the mirror. Marcus walked over, his eyes burning with happiness as he looked at me. Eleanor, have you forgiven me? That's wonderful. Marcus, you once said you would apply my makeup during my second rebirth, to bless my new beginning. I placed the eyebrow pencil in his hand. Marcus, without overthinking, eagerly picked up the pencil to apply my makeup. He didn't know that a woman's two rebirths are her birth and her marriage. If he had known that applying my makeup was to celebrate my getting married, he would rather die than hold that brush. Eleanor, you look damn beautiful today. Why wouldn't I be beautiful? It was my wedding day, I certainly had to be. After I saw him off, he'd turn back to look at me every few steps. Eleanor, you must wait for me. I said nothing, watching him leave until his figure disappeared around the corner. Then I turned and went inside to put on my wedding gown. Marcus headed east, my wedding limousine departed south. Ethan had held my hand tightly the entire time, never letting go. You seem more nervous than I am? Aren't you nervous? I chuckled at Ethan, what's there to be nervous about? I'm afraid he'll come and try to take you away. Don't worry, he doesn't know I'm getting married today. By now, he's probably already boarded his plane. Upon arriving at the Hayes family estate, I went through the busy wedding customs one by one, only then realizing how tiring it all was. Ethan, concerned for me, carried me back to the room to rest. Just then, my father called. Eleanor, Marcus has gone mad. For some reason, he suddenly turned back, saying he forgot to give you something. He couldn't find you anywhere and learned from the servants that you were married. After questioning the servants further, he now knows everything. Without a word, he took explosives and drove like a madman, threatening to blow up the Hayes family estate. You need to prepare yourself and warn Ethan. No sooner had my father's words fallen than a deafening series of explosions sounded outside. I knew Marcus had arrived. Ethan took my hand, and we appeared together in Marcus's sight. He held several bombs in his hands. One casual toss would cause an explosion, and no one dared approach him. His eyes were bloodshot with rage as he stared at me. Eleanor, you lied to me. What did I lie about? You were the one who broke your word first, with another woman by your side. What right do you have to come here acting insane and accusing me of betrayal? Haha. Me, insane? Yes, you drove me insane. I told you to wait for me for one more year, for me to resolve those troubles, and then I would come and take you back to the Gould family. Why didn't you wait for me? Why did you hide your marriage to Ethan from me? I'll give you two choices, either come with me, or I blow him up. Choose one. Marcus's voice was filled with unwavering determination, yet tinged with a slight tremor. He was afraid I wouldn't agree, choosing a non-existent third option, a life-or-death struggle. Ethan was no pushover, he showed no fear of the bombs. He held my shoulder, calmly reassuring me. Eleanor, don't be afraid. I won't let you get hurt. If he truly goes mad and throws a bomb, I will shield you with my own body. Since you've entered the Hayes family, you are a Hayes family wife. There's no question of giving you away. I had indeed judged him correctly, he valued me greatly, and I equally admired his courage and shrewdness. I hardened my expression, took a few steps forward, and spoke without hesitation. I choose the non-existent third option. If you want tea. Oh, blow me up, then do it. Isn't it you who is responsible for this irreversible situation today? Eleanor, please, don't be like this. Come with me, okay? I know I made a mistake. I don't want power anymore, I only want you. Those words came too late. I turned my back to him, taking Ethan's hand, and walked away from his sight, step by step. Marcus screamed like a madman, begging me to turn around. But he lacked the courage to throw the bombs in his hands, fearing he would hurt me. Finally, he collapsed to the ground, spitting blood. The family quickly disarmed him and restrained him. The subsequent events proceeded smoothly. Marcus was sent back to Northfield by my father, and Aunt went with him. However, not long after, I heard that Marcus had broken off their arranged marriage. The reason was that the princess no longer needed her and revoked her title. I was no longer interested in knowing what happened next, content to simply live my own life well. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.